Good evening, everyone. Today we are going to cover Trello as a project management tool. As you all know, that project management is a complex activity involving multiple stakeholders as well as multiple teams who are working on a common objective. It is inevitable that there will be a lot of activities, a lot of checklists, and a lot of overlapping activities that can derail a project. Without the project management tool, it becomes very manual and cumbersome to track each and every product line item. Every activity has an impact on the subsequent activity, and it is important that we manage the project granularly and accurately. Today, we are going to discuss about one of the most commonly used and important tools in project management, which is known as Trello. So today's presentation is going to cover this agenda. We are going to understand what Trello is, how is a Trello made up of, various integrations which are there in Trello, the various use cases, as well as final tips and takeaway on what Trello is. Now, we will now think about a fact that what happens when we do not use project management tools like Trello. We have tasks which are scattered across various touch points such as emails, chats, and spreadsheets. There is no common place where information is available about them. It is difficult to track the project progress. There is a possibility and probability that our deadlines, which are important for project delivery, may get missed, and certain tasks may get lumped or forgotten. Without a central project management tool like Trello, communication between team members becomes random, and this poor communication results in lack of ownership and accountability. There is also duplication of work and confusion over responsibilities because there is no centralized tracking which is going on, and there is no way that various project members are able to communicate effectively with each other. Also, without a centralized tool, there is a limited possibility for managers and stakeholders to view the progress of the project. With this, it gives me an immense pleasure to introduce to you Trello. Trello is a visual work management tool that basically empowers teams to ideate, that is, to create ideas, to plan their work, to manage and track their progress, and eventually celebrate their work together in a collaborative and organized manner. The idea of Trello, you can see the workspace of it, the image on the screen, is basically to simplify a project and standardize the way we track our project, making it eventually user friendly. What are the building blocks of Trello? If you see on your right, we have a Trello board which is available, and every Trello workspace basically consists of four items. One is a board, which you can see on the screen, which keeps a track of your information. It is a place where we organize our tasks and put out the little details. Lists are the set of cards which are there, which are basically specific items of information. So, for example, on your left, you see uh, the list as to do, which has a certain set of activities which are defined. Then a list contains of doing, and a list contains of done. Now, each and every item in the list is basically a card, which is basically an idea or a task which is to be performed. On your right hand side, we have the menu option, which is basically a mission control, which has sections like the permissions which are available to members, the settings which are there, power ups, which I will explain in the subsequent slide, which we get used to create automations. So the purpose of Trello is basically to act like a one view and a single source of truth for the project leader to track the project efficiently. To start with Trello, you basically have to first create a board and click on the plus icon. You will also be able to choose a profile setting, whether you want your board to be public, that is being available to all, private, which only specific set of individuals can view, organization wide, or a workspace. Second step is to customize it with images, which gives you a distinct identity. If you see on the right side, we have customized the Trello board with a Ferris wheel. Third is start collaborating by inviting people whom you want to be a part of the project. You will also assign here member permissions, that the member that you are inviting, what kind of rights do they have? Do they have a normal right, that is to view and edit, or do they have only observe right, that is to only view the workspace, or which set of people will be given the master admin right, that is to add or remove members and to change any of the settings. After we select and invite members, we build a workflow. A workflow, the one which you see on your right side, which is defining what activities are upcoming, progress, and done, and then we add tasks. If you recall, when we were talking about the building blocks of Trello, we were talked about the fact that it involves a board, it involves a list, and it involves cards, and that is what Trello is about. Within a specific task, we can go as detailed as possible by describing descriptions which help us build context. So if you see the example below, we have a marketing campaign plan. The description is designing basically the context. Secondly, is to add to the card people that we want to add, any attachments that we want to mention, any checklists that have to be done, so that it becomes easy for the project members to understand the project and their expectations. We can also talk about the fact that we can even add attachments in it. And for smoother communication, we also have the activity field where members can update the project status and even tag fellow members by the rate at the rate of, the way we use it in other chat items. When we write at the rate and the name of the person, that person gets a customized message. And this is how Trello also works. To onboard a team, you have to create a workspace wherein all can access the team boards, members, and workspace views. We can invite members by clicking on the invite button, and we can invite them by email address or name. We can create project boards with description, action, and cross team perspectives. The idea here is to have all the team members aligned and contribute their ideas to have a cross team perspective and brainstorm towards solution. That is what makes Trello very distinct from other project management tools. Trello is a very powerful tool because you can integrate Trello with other applications like Slack. Messages in Slack can flow through Trello by even using Google Drive. If you see on your right, I've shared an image that talks about the fact that you can upload Google Documents, Google Sheets, Google Slides, and integrate them with Trello for a seamless and smooth communication. Also for file storage and document sharing. Jira, which is a very powerful project management tool for software development and issue tracking, can also be integrated with Trello. Microsoft Teams, an online collaboration tool, also has integrated powers with Trello. Apart from this, we had GitHub for code repository, Salesforce, and Gmail, which can be attached to Trello tasks. Now, all these features which make Trello very powerful are basically power-ups. They are extensions that connect Trello with over 200 third-party applications. We can activate different views in Trello. To see our, our project and our process, there are basically 8 views which have been described in this slide and the next. You have the board view by which you can see planning and progress pipelines, a table view by which you can see all your tasks in a compact and manageable table format, a calendar view which basically tells you the due date tracking. So the way we have our calendar, which basically tells us that this activity is due on this date, that is what calendar view tells us. It helps a project manager and the team to see on what dates are the due dates following. Then you have a timeline view, which is basically a combination of a workspace and a calendar view, which helps us to track activities from start to sprint to actually ship. That is the final completion stage. You can also view the activities in another four ways, which is basically a dashboard view, which helps you track and visualize the data in the form of various chart visualizations like a bar chart or or a pie chart or histogram, and it shows you the historical progress of the project. Then you have the map view, which basically is for in-person meetings and to check for any location resources that we have. Another a very interesting way to track our progress in case our project is locationally dispersed. Then we have the workspace view, which is an efficient way to be on the top of the work because it shows you all your boards along with their due dates so that you can track which project is going how. You can also measure the duplication of efforts as well as the bandwidth of the team and the activities which are involved. Then we have a workspace calendar, which is basically an extension of the workspace view into its calendar counterpart. Like we mentioned about various automations in Trello, you can set up rules by which automations can work in Trello so that your work becomes faster, more efficient, and it also reduces cumbersome and repetitive activities. There are multiple ways you can add automations in Trello. You can use rules in which you can define a trigger, define actions, and save your rule. By calendar due dates, also you can build automations that when the moment a card is due and you have a date that is defined, a comment would come that what is the status of this particular project. So that's very, very efficient because it again does away with any kind of manual follow-ups that take place. Then you have email integrations, a very, very interesting way wherein you can define a particular milestone or a trigger and draft an already preset template for email which you would like to be sent with variables to populate. It can also make your life very easy and simple because these emails and integrations are defined and are automatically sent to the concerned team members seeking a status update. We also have card and board buttons to trigger automation on demand, and you can activate a series of actions at the card and the board level as well. Now we talk about the best use cases of Trello. Trello we have seen is a visual management tool which helps in project management and tracking. And there are multiple industry use cases that we have for Trello. One of them is visual storyboarding, which is ideal for creative inflows like content planning, filmmaking, if you want to design any advertisement, if you want to write any content. Trello can be used because it involves multiple stakeholder involvement and movement, and progress has to be tracked. If you're planning an event to manage logistics, vendors, timelines, and checklists at one place, Trello is again very, very useful. For remote work collaboration where teams are geographically dispersed, Trello can help them track the progress in a very efficient and clinical manner. Like we saw that you can engage with your fellow teammates by seeking their feedback, their comments, their updates, telling them to cross-pollinate on ideas and build a collaborative ecosystem. For research and knowledge management also, wherein you need to organize documents, findings, and references systematically, Trello is efficiently used. Also, for your own personal productivity to track habits, goals, and self-improvement plans, Trello can be extensively used. Now, to efficiently use Trello, there are certain tricks and tips which I put on this slide. One is to make your board very attractive and very easy to use. See, the activity is cumbersome, it has a lot of steps, and it is very important that we break down the activity to make our important task stand out. So it is encouraged that we use colors and images to make our significant activities stand out. Then you have card separators in which you can separate long tasks into clear sections. The way we interact on chats and we use emojis, reactions, and stickers to build engagement, Trello is also empowered by which you can use emojis, reactions, and stickers to celebrate milestones, encourage team members to speak to each other, engage with them, and to build a team camaraderie. Since every project is usually long and has multiple stakeholders, activities like this will make team bonding stronger and will encourage team members to contribute to the best of their ability. To stay organized, you can mark task as done. That is, you can move your completed task to a done list or use labels and due date completion to encourage teams to show that out of say 5 activities, 3 have been done and building a spirit of completeness and team bonding. You can also celebrate success by adding confetti to completed tasks list for a fun, motivating, and a whole team-some experience. You can also work faster on it by using keyboard shortcuts to quickly move between tasks, add due dates, filter cards, and navigate boards more effectively. So the final tips and takeaways that we have on Trello is that it is simple and user-friendly interface. You've seen that it has a uh, lot of visuals attached to it, and it's more built on the Kanban method. So if I have to explain a Kanban method in a very simplistic way, it is basically talking about the things which are to be done, things which are in progress, and things which are done. So it's very, very simple. You can organize your activities in a very efficient way in this manner. It is highly visual and intuitive way to manage workflows. It has strong collaboration capabilities, like we mentioned, that we can integrate third-party applications in it using power-ups, and of course, also build strong collaboration by interacting with our team, by integrating it with Slack, by asking comments, feedback to the team, taking a status update on defined milestones, making it very easy to use. Then it is very flexible for professional and personal use, the illustrations that we saw, and it has become very scalable with integrations and automations. While this is one of the perfect use cases of Trello, which talks about how we can monitor, for example, a product launch, or if you can monitor cross-team collaboration. One of the limitations of Trello is that it is dependent on external integrations. And for certain specific activities which involve scheduling or which involve designing of Gantt charts, it may not be very useful. But all said and done, Trello is a very powerful tool and it should be used very efficiently to the best of its capability to make the life of project managers easy and to build projects and team bonding that can help in accomplishment of the project tasks. Thank you. And with this, I look forward to introduce you to more project management tools in times to come. Thanks a lot.